بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We started last time by looking at, say, as we mentioned, footprinting tools and techniques, which is, say, information gathering. Okay, as we said that this is the first step towards, let's say, a hacker or pen testing. Whatever you are doing pen testing or you are hacking, you need to gather as much as information as possible about your target network. And sometimes, as we mentioned in our first chapter, we said that you might use white box hacking or say black box hacking. Okay, sometimes the organization you are doing pen testing for them, they are doing ethical hacking for them, they will provide you with such information, but not always. Sometimes they will ask you, for instance, to verify whether a hacker from the outside can gather or can collect information, or what type of information can be collected by an outsider, by a hacker. So you will do the same tool, you will use the same tools that is used by a hacker to try to gather the information. Okay. Now, specifically when we do footprinting, is the objective is to identify how an intruder, how a hacker can penetrate into an organization's network system. Okay, and most of, let's say, the information that you are going to gather, okay, will be taken from a public information. Okay, publicly available sensitive information, which is public information about your target, about your organization. Okay, now you can get that public information whether to use some, let's say, obvious tools, or you can use social engineering. Okay, that will help you to gather information. So it is very important to know, let's say, how the organization is seen by an outsider, from the outside. Okay. Now, the idea about footprinting and information gathering, okay, we said that you need, if you know, for instance, and we gave an example last time, if you know the range of an IP address that is used by, or the network ID used by that organization, you can, let's say, focus and restrict your search area only on that part of the network. Otherwise, you have to go through the whole network range of IP addresses from class A to class C with different prefix and subnet masks, in order just to try to know what is the IP address, what is the network ID used within that internal networks of XYZ target. So by gathering the information, by gaining or knowing the IP or the ID network, so at least you are restricting you will focus only on that part of network and do your scanning only on that part. Also, by gathering the information, you try to identify the different vulnerabilities by knowing the type of applications the organization is using, by knowing their operating system they are using. You know the corresponding vulnerabilities for such operating system or for such application. And also, your footprinting will allow you to draw the network map, to know what are the different, how many devices are on, what type of devices, which device is connected to which other device, and so on. So we'll draw a map of that network's, let's say, organization's network infrastructure. Okay, in order just to know you are dealing with whom and what is the, let's say, the different connections between the devices, so you can plan your action. And we said there are many places where an outsider or a hacker or a pen tester can get such information. Okay, and by using freely available sources that are on the net, we say that we are using what is known as open source intelligence. Okay, open source intelligence, or OSINT. That means you are gathering, you are collecting information, okay, in a passive way. You don't have to interact directly with the organization. You just go search on Google, search about XYZ organization, and try to find out what type of information you can get, what type of information you can collect. Okay, as we mentioned, you are collecting those information from general resources, basically, for instance, from Google, or you go to the organization's website itself. Okay, there they have their website, and you can see what you can do with their website, what type of information you can collect from that website. Okay, now the idea about the information gathering process is, as we mentioned, you need to try to determine the logical and physical dimensions for the network. Now, what is now, Shabab, the difference now between the logical or network, logical and physical network? When we say logical network, what is the difference now between logical and physical network?
Logical network is how the network or the nodes and devices are organized.
In terms of what?
In terms of connection.
How can you draw, for instance, a logical network based on what?
Maybe, for example, if it's a university department, based on the departments.
How can I take, for instance, I do have 5 PCs. How can I connect between? How do I know that this PC can communicate, for instance, with another PC based on what? Logically, in the best way, and in the simplest network.
It's just it's virtually connected, not physically.
Yes, virtual based on what? This is what I want. If I go, if I tell you, I do have a logical network, I will call it A. Okay, and I do have another logical network, which I will call it B. Based on what? That logical A and logical B.
On subnetting.
On subnetting. Okay, I will say that this PC belongs to the same network as PC B, for instance. Even if they are not located on the same physical location, they are not on the same room. Maybe PCA is in one floor, PCB is in another floor, but as logical, they belong to the same network. So here, by doing information gathering, I want to know what is the network logical and physical. Which devices are located together in the same location, which devices belongs to the same network, even if they don't have the same location. They are not directly connected physically, but they belong to the same network using VLAN, for instance, if we are using switch, or they belong to this. They do have the same subnet mask, the same network ID. They belong to the same network ID. So this is one of, let's say, the objectives of the information gathering. And it is very important, as we mentioned previously, the first step in ethical hacking, which is footprinting and information gathering, is the main important phase. Because without it, you cannot proceed to the next phases, because you will have a lack of information. So you have to do properly your footprinting and information gathering in order to facilitate the task for the next phases. You have all the information. Like someone, for instance, who will go and let's say he wants to repair his car, okay, and he doesn't have appropriate tools because he didn't gather the information. He didn't know what type of, let's say, problem he will have or he has in his car. By knowing what type of problem, you know to which part you want to repair, and you have to discover that part and which tool you are going to use. So you have to be prepared for that. And the same thing in ethical hacking or pen testing. You need to gather as much as information you can in order just to prepare the appropriate tool for the next step, how you are going to attack it. Other, let's say, objective for information gathering process is to identify. Okay, when you do information gathering, you have to identify, help you to identify what are the devices that are on, that are off, what type of port they are using, active services, and access, whether they are using access point or not, what are the name of the access point. You need to detect the operating systems running within that network, for instance, okay, and searching for any known vulnerabilities of running software. For instance, they are running, let's say, Office, okay, package. That means, let's say, they you know that the version of the office has XYZ vulnerability, so you can prepare to launch an attack against or exploit that vulnerabilities. Okay. Now, what are the activities involved in footprinting, for instance, or from where you are going to gather the information to get such information? You can use the company's website itself. Okay, you can identify key employees of your target in order for later to do, for instance, social engineering to try to extract some vital information from those key employees. We're going to see some example of analyzing open positions and job requests. Okay, try to find out whether your target is affiliated to some other parent organization. Maybe your target is just a child or sub part of a big company. Okay, or whether the target has a sister company, which, let's say, another location, okay, of that company, for instance. Okay, and you try to find the technology and software used by that organization. Now, also within the footprinting activities, as we mentioned, you need to know what is the network address used and the range of the network address that company is using. You try to extract such information from different sources. Okay. Now, once you get, for instance, you know ABCD network address used by that company, you need to verify whether the organization is the owner of that, let's say, domain, for instance, or they are using a domain that is hosted by another company. So all those links needs to be derived, needs to be known by a hacker in order just to prepare for the good or to plan for the right one. Okay, and as we mentioned, look for employee posting, blogs, and other leaked information. You can go to the social media of those key employees and try to find out if you can create the right profile for that guy and try to guess or brute force username and password used by those key employees in order just to try to, let's say, get such information as, let's say, your first step towards introducing or penetrating inside that organization. Okay, once you get the data, you need to review the data, because not all the information you are going to gather will be, let's say, of benefit. So you need to do some filtering, let's say, discard the information that you don't need, keep the information that you need, and try to plan your next step and to choose the appropriate tools for your attack. Okay, now for the information on the company website, what you can get as information from, let's say, psu.edu or any XYZ company, you can get the employee names and email addresses, and you can use it when you get employee names. Okay, usually, for instance, just to give an example, in PSU, the emails or the employee's email are usually less the combination of the first name and last name. Okay, so that means at least you know, let's say, the policy or the, let's say, how those emails are created by that organization, and try to find out their email addresses. Okay, if you get the email addresses of people working or employees working for that target, for your target company, you can send them, for instance, a phishing email, and you might get chance someone that will click on your email, and you get inside his PC, where you do some escalation and you penetrate inside the network. Okay, so it is very important to know the emails and the names of the employees, branch office locations, whether that website is, let's say, showing that all its branches. For instance, on some website, you will, for instance, you go to the bank website, you do have that option that will say branch locations. Okay, you say, for instance, I want to search for a Riyadh location, and within Riyadh, I can have to search the location within, let's say, Ulayya or whatever the area you want. And these are telling you that this company has other branches and their locations. Sometimes, by knowing the branch office locations, you can get inside. You may, let's say, find that some locations are less secure than others. So you can plan, for instance, for physical attack. You can go by yourself. You know that location doesn't have, let's say, hard security or a lot of people, let's say, securing or security agents. So you can infiltrate inside that office and you can do your attack, for instance. Okay, and also from the website of your company, of your target, you can extract the technologies used by that organization. You will know that, for instance, from the website, you might find some vital information about, for instance, the type of server they are using, the type of operating system. This type of information might exist, whether they are using firewall or not, for instance. So these are of interest. These are some information that are beneficial for an attacker. Because if you know, as we mentioned, if you know they are using firewall, you can launch your attack based on this type of information and so on. Okay, this is an example by looking at, for instance, at the code of the company's website. Okay, can you spot something unusual in this HTML code, Shabab?
The name of the database server?
Yes, you can see here we do have, this is a comment that has been left by the guy who wrote this, let's say, who designed the web page for that company. Okay, and this is a comment and specifying that this web page will prompt for password to log on to database servers. It is like a free information given to the hacker that this company is using this type of database. Okay, of course, this guy may be the guy who wrote this, let's say, page or this piece of code. He made that comment for himself, for instance, just to track his progress, let's say, to understand, because sometimes, you know, when you are programming, when you are writing programs, sometimes if you go back to your program later, you cannot understand what you have, why you have, let's say, included such portion of code. But in the good programming manner, any, let's say, comment, okay, should be removed for yourself, or let's say for the copy, for the, let's say, for the guy who is writing the program, you can keep a copy with the comment. But the one that you are going to make public, you should remove all those comments. You don't need, because as a user, as a public, let's say, web page should not display such type of information, which is a freely given information to a hacker. Okay, guys. So this is, let's say, sometimes that of vital information you can find on some website. Another place where you can gather the information on a company is what is known as Wayback Machine. Can you please, Shabab, open your browser and type in Wayback Machine?
The Internet Archive.
Yes, the Internet Archive, yes.
Okay. Says explore more than 460
search engine. It's a search engine.
Yeah, it is search.
Type, for instance, can you see my screen? Type http www.psu.edu.sa and try to click on browse history. I have a slow connection here. Inshallah, it will work. And let me know what you got. If you type in any, let's say, website or URL address within Wayback Archive, okay, what you got?
We got a calendar.
Yes, good. Okay.
Yes, that shows us some bar
To
graphs.
to which extent do you have? I don't have the result yet.
It's like a
20.
timeline of.
Yes, timeline. To which extent in history did you go?
2020.
2020. If you go back,
1996.
1996. Is there any? Can you click on that day?
But it's the first time there is any record is
2003.
2003.
2003. Just press on that date.
هو 2003 بشهر سبتمبر 10th of September الساعة 6:51. ما
Just let me use. I will use the PC because now the wireless is.
there is one snapshot.
Way back.
Yeah, it's under construction, and that's
It was under construction. Choose another day. Choose another day where you can see the website at that time. If we go, let's go back 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2017.
2004 April 13 is
Yes,
2006 works.
there's a snapshot.
2004, 2004,
April
Yes.
13.
or February 4. Let's go to February 4. If I can get, we can get. Okay, it wasn't April 14. You said.
13.
Okay, April 13. So what you got in reality, Shabab? What is that Wayback Machine? Okay. What is it?
It's a snapshot of the old website of the university.
Good. It is an archive for the website. So you can get, for instance, here, how you can use that Wayback Machine. For instance, what you can do, you can, for instance, if, let's say, today's website, let's say PSU website or in your target website, didn't have such information, then you might get the information you are looking for in their previous copy of their website. Okay, and Wayback Machine is storing old versions of the website. Maybe the information we are looking for, okay, now it was available at that time, and you can get it if you go back to the archive. Maybe today's website, let's say they are aware, let's say PSU are aware about the security hole, and they remove such information from today's website, but they couldn't remove it from, let's say, from the archive. So it is there. So you can get information from the Wayback Machine. Okay, Shabab? It's just to show you, to say, sometimes to show you that you can get the information, okay, from an archive, from the websites or company website archive, previous one, where you can extract the information. Also, you can get information from job posting. So this is an example of a job posting. Okay, you have information, an advert about a position within that company. Okay, they are looking for someone who is skilled in, let's say, advanced Windows 8, 10, Server 8, Office, experience in Cisco Pix, VMware, SAP, Active Directory. So this is a job posting, okay, which, let's say, has been posted by XYZ company. So what you can get as information, or what is the relevance of this type of job posting to a hacker? Yes, Shabab?
Maybe recognize old bugs that they had or something like that. Maybe old left up exploits.
Before you said exploit related to what?
To the version of the stuff they run, right?
Yes, that means you are here, you are discovering the type of technology they are using. Okay? By knowing, for instance, they are looking for someone with experience in using Windows 8, Windows 10, or whatever the type of Windows they are using, you know that they're looking for someone who is skills on those operating system. That means they do have machines running such type of operating system. Okay, if you know that they are using Cisco PIX, for instance, firewall or Checkpoint firewall, okay, you know that this company is using firewall with this model. By knowing the technology, you will search on the net the different types of vulnerabilities associated with that technology or with those devices or operating systems, and you can prepare to launch your attack based on that vulnerabilities in order just to exploit those vulnerabilities. Okay, if you can see here, by just looking at the job postings, it will give you valuable clues and information about the infrastructure of and the technology used by that company. Okay, Shabab? Also, you can get now.
Sorry, I want to ask you: is this this is part of the reconnaissance, right?
Yes, of course, it is a part of reconnaissance. Yes.
Okay.
Information gathering and reconnaissance. Yes. Okay. You can also discover financial information. Okay, in some countries, they do have, say, website organization that hold, let's say, the financial position of companies. So by knowing that, let's say, this company is, let's say, a business company, and they have to be registered with financial, let's say, organization. So you can get some other information about the director's information, the clues about, let's say, who is responsible within that company, their names, their email address, and so on. So this you can also, this is one place where you can get some information about any company running a business, let's say, in some country. This is an example of what you can get when you try to discover financial information about, say, a company using some specific website that provides you with such information. Even for the information, for the financial information, you can, for instance, use that. For instance, if you are given, let's say, a choice between targeting A company and B company, and you want to affect or target the company that will have a big damage if you manage to attack it. So how do you know that? You get to the financial, you try to get the financial information and see what impact will be induced to if you attack A and if you attack B, based on just the financial information you gather. And you know that if I will attack B, B has, let's say, mini subsidiary. It does have, let's say, mini sub-company working, and if you attack the headquarters of the company, you will affect, let's say, you will have a big impact on the financial aspect of that company. So gathering financial information is also a key point for an attacker to know and to gather other information that can be provided freely to the user who are looking. For instance, in you go to UK, to go to USA, any company, if you want to set up a business company or any private company, you need to register with somebody, okay? And they have to display publicly, to make public the information about the director, about, let's say, number of employees, the number, let's say, the budgets, the turnover of that company. So each year they should display some types of report, okay? And they are requested by law to display such information. And by looking at that information, the financial information, as an attacker, as a hacker, you can gather the information you are looking for. Another tool, Shabab, which is also considered as open source intelligence, which is Google hacking, which is known as Google hacking. Okay, you go to Google and do some search. Okay, now by going, for instance, to Google and doing some search, we are not going to do it in a normal way. Okay, what we have already or always used. Okay. Okay, let's, for instance, we are looking for someone. Can you please type in the same thing? Can you please open Google, Shabab? And let's say
Yes.
we are looking for this guy, this person, Nikola Tesla. Okay.
Yes.
So usually, or let's say before we put Nikola Tesla, let's just remove Nikola and search for Tesla. What you got?
The company.
The car model or something.
The car.
You see here. Let's say the dominant information you got from Google is about the car. Okay, Tesla cars. Now we are not. Let's say we don't get such. We don't want to get such information. We want to be more specific. I want to look about a person, a guy who is known as, for instance, I have read in some blogs about someone who is known as Nikola Tesla. So what we do now, it's like we are refining. Okay, we are trying to narrow our search. Okay, instead of searching for Tesla in general, we have provided another piece of information. Okay, we have added an extra keyword. Okay, to be more specific. Now, when we use that Nikola Tesla, now if you can say here, the information we got is about a person we are looking for. This is an inventor.
Yes.
Okay, the guy who invented the AC, the alternator. Okay, this is what we are looking for. Okay, now if, for instance, I want to be more specific. Okay, for instance, I want to be more specific. I will before that, if you can see here, the Nikola and space Tesla, Google has considered that like we are searching for what? Nikola and Tesla. Okay, it will display all the web pages that does have those two keywords at the same time. Okay, that space has been translated like an and. Now, let's consider, for instance, if I want to have, let's say, Tesla AC/DC. What did you got, Shabab?
Well, we got about the AC and DC current.
Okay, if you can see here, for
We get both
here,
of them.
the one that are bolded, Shabab. If you can see here, we got AC/DC, but in the second page here, what we got? We got AC and we got DC alone.
Yes.
So what happened now? How, let's say, did the same thing in the other page? I do have here AC and you have DC. The one that are, let's say, highlighted in bold. I do have Tesla in one place, and then you have AC and I do have DC. I do have here Tesla, it is here, DC and AC. So how this keyword search has been translated by the search engine at Google?
As or.
As or. Do you think it is as or, Shabab?
لا but maybe not exact match. It's searching for exact match. Okay.
It has returned anything, okay, that does have in its website the keyword Tesla, keyword and DC and AC. But what I wanted to search, okay, I wanted to search the keyword AC/DC, because here, what did, let's say, Google, let's say, search engine did, it considered that slash like an and. It didn't consider that slash like the whole word AC/DC. Okay, Shabab? So if I wanted to be, let's say, more specific, what I can do, I can, let's say, add the quotation. Can you add quotations on the AC/DC, Shabab? Or around that phrase? Here, what I want to get, I want to get the exact match search. Okay, if you can see all your searches, what you will get AC/DC. I will not find, let's say, it will not, let's say, highlight AC apart and DC apart. Okay, here
Yes.
it is considering my search keyword search as Tesla and the whole phrase AC/DC to be more specific when you put those quotations. Okay, guys,
Okay.
that means you are getting more closer to what you are going to search. For instance, okay, I'm going more closer to the web pages that does have the word Tesla and AC/DC. Okay, now let's say I'm going to search for Tesla and or let's say Edison, because this guy was working with the Edison who discovered, let's say, the electricity. Okay, so when we use now or, we are using the logical or, okay, between those two keywords, Tesla or Edison. Okay, so what will it will give you now?
It will give you information for both.
For both, can we have a website that will contain only one of the keywords? We are using or, Shabab. Can you see here?
If you
When we
look
use
at,
or, what you get? We are searching for any website that does have that keyword, whether Tesla or Edison. Okay,
Yeah,
we are not using and.
we get both of them, both of
For
these
the
search.
first for the first one, but if you go deeper, if you go to next, you might find some website that does have only the word Tesla on it. Some other they do have only Edison. Okay, here let's say the first ones you get, of course, you get, let's say, the good, let's say, matching where you do have Tesla or Edison, both of them. But if you go further to other pages, you might find Tesla only or Edison only. Not necessarily both of the keywords can be found inside, let's say, as a result. Okay, so this is just to show you, for instance, we are giving this example as just to show you that if for a hacker to search for some specific information within Google, what are the different types of expression that we can use within Google. This is what is known as Google hacking. It's like you are using Google to hack others. Okay, let's go to more. Okay, let's say, for instance, I will search, I will do, for instance, between bracket. Okay, then I will go, let's say, alternating, for instance, current. So what do we get here?
we get exactly what you wrote in the.
So it's like here what it is doing, because of that space between this bracket, okay, between Tesla or Edison, and I do have another keyword alternating. I do have, let's say, current. Okay, so that means it is looking for those spaces are considered like and. Okay, this between bracket will be considered as one. Okay, at one phrase. Okay, and the other one are considered as an and. Okay, so this is what you get when you do some operator, because that or, okay, can be used like let's say in complex search when you are using when you want to get one of them. But it is what we put, for instance, in parentheses, okay, to group that Tesla or Edison. Okay, then we add alternating current as an and condition. Okay, that means I will get Tesla. I might get Tesla with alternating current. I might get Edison with alternating current. I might get both Tesla, Edison with alternating current. Okay, so this is what we get. Now let's move on to, let's say, I am looking for, let's say, Tesla dash motors. Tell me what you get. Sorry, dash, sorry, Shabab, here I will say space, dash motors. What we got here?
The car itself.
Say again. The car itself. But what does that, the minus? Here we are saying we are putting minus motors.
Maybe focus on the motors.
It
No,
doesn't want
it is the
motors.
Focus on
inverse.
the Tesla without the motors, right?
Without motors, barakallahu. What you get as a result, you will get all the web pages that contains the keyword Tesla without motors. Okay, that means minus. When you use minus, that means I want to exclude. I want to exclude any result that will contain the motors in that web page as a result. Okay, shabab, and you can go deeper. For instance, minus. I can go car minus, for instance, battery. Okay, I want to exclude all those three keywords. I don't want to get any website that does have on it the keyword motors, car, and battery. Okay, here we are. It's like we are looking. We are chaining. It's like you are chaining the negative, let's say, keywords. Okay, it's like I don't want to get motors. I don't want to get cars. I don't want to get battery as a result of searching for that Tesla. Okay. The same thing now. Let's go back to, which is the interesting one. Tesla around. Can you write it down like around Edison? And I want you to tell me what we got by using, let's say, around operator. This is an operator. Okay. These are some types of operators that you can use within your search engine. Okay.
It's anything related to Tesla person and Edison at the same time.
Not that one. Just have a look at, let's say, the first one, for instance. Try to find out the relation. Don't search for the around the operator, Shabab. I want you to get the idea about the result.
3 letters between Tesla and Edison.
Say it again, what?
3 letters between the word Tesla and Edison.
Not letters, not letters. You are on the right, let's say, logic, but not 3 letters. I do have here Tesla. If you say 3 letters, this is not 3 letters. Okay, this is an empty. So you can
3
have,
characters.
if you can see here, Tesla. Okay, so what? Say it again. 3
characters.
Not 3 characters. Words. Let's consider them as a word.
Words.
Okay.
Okay, they are this here, which is like how close those keywords you are looking for. Okay, I want something that is closer. For instance, between my Tesla and Edison keyword, they should be near to each other at most. For instance, let's say with the 3 keywords. Okay, and you can have round 2, round 1. Okay, of course, the around 0, I think it will give you a mess for the information. Okay, if you go, for instance, let's say, let's have a look at this one. Let's say Nicola. Let's go to that. Let's have 2 with another one. Thomas, let's say Thomas Edison. Did you get the idea what we are getting here, Shabab?
Around 2 means 2 words.
Yes.
2 words we got, yeah.
Yes, 2 words. We do have here 2 words between, let's say, those 2 phrases, Nikola Tesla apart and Thomas Edison in another part. Okay. Now let's move on to the main thing. Okay, that is most used by a hacker to search for the information within, let's say, the internet using Google search. Okay, we are introducing now an operator, which is a site. Okay, and let's say we discovered here Nikola Tesla. Let's say in some, let's say, blogs, let's say for public, yes, let's say .org. Okay, here if you can see here, I'm using what is known as a site with a colon. Can you see this one? This is an operator. This is an advanced command that will specify. Okay, so it's like it will narrow my search for that Nikola and Tesla keyword. It will narrow my search to a specific domain that I want to search on. For instance, if I want to search for something in .edu or .com or .org or .military or any domain, what you will use as an advanced command is to use this operator, which is, let's say, a site colon. There is no space between colon and what you are searching for. Okay, if I press enter, what you got, Shabab? If you can see here, all the results, they are coming from pbs.org, pbs.org, pbs.org. Can you see the result, Shabab?
Yes.
So you are refining your search. Okay, you are telling, I want to search within specific, because you know, Shabab, because when you do hacking or you do pen testing, or you want to gather information, if you leave, let's say, you do your search or using, let's say, Google hacking, and you are searching for some information, you will present it with maybe thousands or millions of results. So it is waste of time. You cannot even go through all the results to extract the information, because you need to minimize the time of searching. So you will narrow your search. You will use what are known as operators or advanced operators that will help you to narrow your search and to search, to focus on some specific domain where you can get the information. Okay. Now I want to be, I don't want to include the full domain, for instance. Okay. I want to, for instance, to include the top level domain, which is, let's say, edu. I want to get the Nikola and Tesla, for instance, okay, within educational domain, which is a top level domain .edu, or which is known as the TLD. Okay, I don't want to get from PBS, not from any other website. All the domain that are related to education, I want to see what they have about Nikola Tesla. Okay, and whatever you will get as a result, these are known as educational domain websites. Okay, they are .edu. All of them are, they do have at the end .edu. Okay, all the information you are getting as .edu, you can see here. Okay, that means here what we did, we when you do, let's say, Tesla or site colon, okay, this type of, let's say, advanced operator, okay, you can write down, let's say, the full domain, or when you go to the domain, you can write the top level domain, which is the, let's say, the last part of your URL. Okay. Now, if we do, let's say, if you want to do some combination, okay, I'm looking for Nikola Tesla, and I will combine. I want to search, let's say, a site within, let's say, .edu, okay, and let's say, or I will search, sorry, I will search for a site within, let's say, government. Okay, here we are combining. If you can see here, this is the .gov, and we do have here a .edu. It's like here. What I want to tell is that, like we did with keywords when we used or, we can use even those advanced, which is site colon, can be also used with an or operator. Okay, to have to search within multiple domain. Okay, I want to search for Nikola Tesla keywords within an educational domain and within also a government domain or websites. Okay, so that means they can be used as a normal keyword. Now, for instance, let's say sometimes, see how, let's say, Google works. Let's say I'm looking for discount, say airfare. What do you think, Shabab? What we got?
At the beginning, all ads.
Say it again, Ahmed.
Ads.
And this is not what I was looking for. We are searching. So what we type here, Shabab? We are looking for websites that have discount and airfare in their website. So what we got, if you go to the first one, let's say here, you go to the first one. What can you see here? Or let's go to the second one, which is, let's say, which shows
looking at deals, like ads, like discounts. For
Yeah, we can
okay, go. Yes, go. You are on the right path. Yes.
minus.
Not minus. Let's forget minus. I've just heard someone who says discount. So what is here? What is the cheapest? Cheapest. Is the cheapest like a discount?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like a synonym of discount. If you can see here, even for instance, airfare, and we do have here flight ticket. So it's like Google search is translating, is using synonyms. Okay, even if it is helping you, even if it doesn't find discount, it searches for, let's say, synonyms of discount, and it will display the pages that do have, let's say, the synonym of discount, the synonym or airfare. Okay, so that means Google, they do have an intelligent, let's say, is using artificial intelligence for, let's say, for searching within the website. If I want to get the exact phrase, I want a website that does have discount and airfare. What should I type?
Quotation.
Now? Yes, between quotation. You go to the quotation, you put quotation, and you should get only those websites that do have, let's say, in their website discount airfare. Okay, now I do have discount airfare. Okay, normally all will contain discount airfare. Okay, Shabab? We can have also an exact match for a specific, for instance, specific word. Okay, for one word. Discount airfare. Okay, if you look at the first result I got discount that has been replaced by the synonym of cheap, for instance, and I do have the exact word airfare. The airfare is appearing in the result. Okay, Shabab? What else? What we can do? Yes. Let's go now to. You can see here. These are some other keywords. We are going to do some practice about it. Just to have a look at the in title. Okay, that means when you put the in title, advanced, let's say, operator. Okay, you are instructing Google to search for a specific term or specific word within the title of a document. Okay, if I put, for instance, in title column, that means I'm looking for specific these words. I'm looking for this word and this and this, and this should appear in the title of the result, in the title of the web page you get as a result. There is another there are many operators. This is just let's say a restricted, let's say small example. I do have, for instance, a file type operator. All those operators will be followed by colon, okay, and without space. For instance, this type of, when I type file type colon back conf ctt mdb xls, okay, that means we are searching to look for a particular term only within specific file type. Okay, I'm looking, for instance, about, let's say, this word in the file that does have extension ctt, okay, and so on. So we are narrowing our search. Okay, this is another example in title index. We do have another one which is in URL. Okay, when we are using in URL, that means we are searching for our keywords within URL of the website. That means if you look at the URL of the website, okay, the one that you type http www, you should find these keywords appearing in the URL. Okay, that means here, in case of, let's say, a hacker has some knowledge about the URL a company is using, you can search for some specific applications or systems or programs within their website. Okay, so let's go back now. Let's do some practice on it. Let's have a look now. For instance, I will give you another one. Let's say in text. Okay, in text. Let's say we are looking for, say, Google. Okay, Wi-Fi. What you see, Shabab, what we got?
The title had Google Wi-Fi.
The title, they have Google Wi-Fi. This one didn't have Google Wi-Fi in that title, but they do have
Google and Wi-Fi.
In the description.
Yes, in general. Okay, you can, for instance, in text, let's say, to find the text in the body of the document itself. Okay, when you go to the body of the document, you will find, let's say, this type of information. Here we do have Google Wi-Fi. Okay, now, for instance, if I want to check, as we mentioned, for instance, if we go back and search for, we go back to our example. As I'm looking for Tesla against, for instance, Edison. Sorry, Tesla. What we got here? What we have here?
We got all the results with the keyword, the exact keyword that we use.
Yeah, the exact match. Yes, the exact match for that Nikola Tesla or Tesla against Edison, for instance. Okay. Now I want to use, let's say, to be more restricted. I want to have this type of information appearing, for instance, in the title of, let's say, the website I am getting. If you can see here, for instance, this example, in this website that has been returned, I do have that Tesla against Edison within, let's say the body of the web page I got. But what if I wanted to search for Tesla against Edison phrase?
I think we use title.
Within the title of the web page. So what I will go, I will use in title. Okay, we will use in title and colon. Now what you will get, all your results should have in their titles Tesla against Edison, Tesla against Edison, and so on. Okay, so this is what, when you put, for instance, when you use in title, and you can also, Shabab, you can combine, because some keywords or some Google operators can be combined together. Okay, for instance, if I want to search for, let's say, multiple keywords in the title, Okay, and I don't want to restrict myself to some, let's say, to the exact match. Okay, what I will do, for instance, I will search title, or let's say here, okay, in title, let's say I'm looking for Tesla. What we can do, we can have another in title, test. We can have in title Tesla, in title gas, in title Edison. Okay. So what we did here, okay, of course, if you go further, you will get more examples. As we mentioned, the first one will to be, let's say, exactly the same as you are searching, but let's say if you go further, not necessarily you will find the exact matching. But what we did here, okay, we are trying to check for multiple keywords in a title. Okay, the spaces between them are, and okay, I do have in title Tesla, I can have Gans and Edison, not necessarily the exact matching, okay, together. Okay, the reality, I can have the three keywords appearing, but not as let's say in one shot, as we can say. Okay, if for instance now I want to check, let's say we do have another keyword, let's say all, sorry, all in title Tesla, so go to against Edison. What we can do here, what we do have as a result. Sorry, all in title. Yes. All with a double L, Shababa. What did you got?
I think the same as the last research.
The same? Yeah, the same. Let's say, yes, nearly the same one.
Nearly, yes.
Yeah, but what is the difference? Yes, in
they are all in the title, but not necessarily, you know, the exact same search.
yes, they do have the same one. You can, let's say, you can have in title with many keywords, in title, or you can gather those keywords that you want to match using all in title. That means I want those keywords to appear all in the title of the return web page. Okay, Shabab? Let's say, for instance, if we do have, let's do combination in title, okay, colon, sorry, colon, I do have, let's say, top, and let's say facts about Tesla. Oh, title, let's remove that in title. Huh? In title, back, let's go back. Top 10 facts. Say Tesla. Okay, I do have a problem with the connection. I hope you don't get the same thing as me, Shabab. You know, sometimes with Google, sometimes when they will discover that someone is using those operators, advanced operators, because usually those advanced operators are used by hackers. So sometimes, okay, sometimes Google will restrict using such operators. If you see that there's too much traffic coming from your PC using some specific advanced operators. Okay, can you see here? It says you have to tell that I am not a robot to get the result. Okay, Shabab?
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Okay. Now, what we can have. There are many. Let's say you can use in title. You can find this around the net. If you look for Google hacking, there are, let's say, a long list about those advanced keyword or advanced operators that can be used. Okay, and this is what you can use within your, let's say, as a hacker to gather information. Okay. Now, another place where you can get some interesting information or let's say gathering information is the Google hacking database. Okay, if you search for GHDB or Google hacking, that is based on the exploited database. If you click on that one, okay, so it is not letting me access. Okay, I will use another one. Let's say. So there's problem here. Did you get the result, Shabab? Yes, Shabab? Can you hear me?
Sorry, can you go back?
Did you got something? Yes?
For me too. Yes.
Yeah. So what can you see on the Google hacking database?
Exploit database.
Exploit database. So what is exploit database? What is it?
Looks like a database of bugs.
Yeah, I'm seeing commands. I'm seeing like commands, different commands.
Yeah, let's say these are the search keywords that have been used by people, okay, for searching, for instance, for vulnerabilities, okay, and someone did gather all those keywords using, if you can see here, I cannot see here, but I'm sure that you do have, you can see those in title, in text, file type, search. These are, let's say, the syntax for searching for keywords, for instance, okay? And if you go, for instance, to search for, let's say, let me use another, can you, let's have a look here, let's search for in URL. Can you see my screen, Shabab, or not?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, in URL, let's say, using, can you type what I am typing? View HTML. Okay, I will use Google hacking network camera. Let's have a look at some interesting one to search for a live camera. Try to access, let's say, that's something that you see that it is interesting. Let's have a look at this one, for instance. This type of search, can you see the one that I have typed here? This can be found within Google database because someone has used it to discover, for instance, when you do, for instance, when you search for the live camera, the camera that are running with an IP address, okay, they managed to to write the correct syntax using advanced operator to get some specific information. If you are looking, for instance, for the use of, let's say, Windows or files that contains user account with their corresponding password, there are some specific syntax using those advanced operators, Google operators, and they did work with those people. So this database will contain all those, let's say, syntax that they have been gathered in one place. So you don't have to think about what is the correct syntax for getting all the result that contains files with their username and password and so on. Did you manage to get something that is running, Shabab, live camera?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes. Yes.
Very interesting.
Where? In which country? Which country? In which country, Shabab?
US.
US. It is too. There's a problem here. Yes, good. This is another. This is one that I got now. This is a live camera, Shabab. Huh?
Yes, it's like
Okay, there are a live camera. You can see here. These are live camera. That's you can discover those live camera just by using, okay, let's say the correct keyword search, the correct, let's say, syntax for searching within, let's say, Google. Here we are using Google. Okay, that's why it is called the Google hacking. Okay, and the same thing you can search within Google database, Google hacking database. You can extract some specific syntax which helps you to get, for instance, to get log files, for instance. Okay, where you do have a username and password about XYZ company and so on. Okay, Shabab?
Doctor? Now,
yes,
if we use just a regular research, would these, website appear in the search?
they might appear. Yes, yes. But when you are using, for instance, let's say the advanced operator, it's like when you do have filtering. You know, when you go to some website and you want to search for some specific information. Let's say I'm looking for to rent, let's say a flat, okay, on the website,
okay,
and I don't want to get those whole, let's say, the whole information from database. I want to be specific. I want to search, for instance, for 1-bedroom flat in specific area, whether it does have, let's say, balcony or not. So I will just go to filter and I will tick, okay, to refine, to be more focused. And the same way, when we use Google hacking, when we use those operators, you are just to try to refine your search, okay, in order to be more exact, more near to the matching of what we are looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another information or another place where you can get information is, let's say, or what is the other part of the information it is interesting to get as, let's say, part of the footprinting phase, which is to explore the domain information. The domain information is, let's say, the domain of the company. Okay, when I talk about the domain is, let's say, for instance, psu.edu, xyz.com, for instance, xyz.org. This is the domain. And we want to get information about who is responsible for that domain. What is the contact number of the person who is responsible for managing the domain within that website, within that company or organization. Okay, and there are many places where you can use freely, you can get freely information about the domain. One of the places is what is known as manual registrar. In general, it is a registrar. Registrar is the place where people, for instance, to acquire a domain, they have to register their domain. You cannot just, let's say, wake up in the morning and say, I will create xyz.com, and this xyz.com will be available on the net. It's not like that. When you want to create, to create a domain for your, let's say, business, for instance, you have to register that domain to to the organization that is responsible for managing the domains within some specific area. Okay, and this is, let's say, let's say, the architecture of, let's say, how the domains management is organized. Okay, you do have on the top, which is the there's an organization called the ICANN, and there is an IANA, which are responsible, for instance, for providing IP addresses to the company. Okay, and within, you check, yes, within each part, let's say, of the globe, okay, whether in North and South America, Asia and Pacific, Europe, Middle East, and parts of Africa, and so on, there is some organizations that are responsible for managing the domains, for managing the domain name, managing the IP addresses given to organization, and so on. So if, for instance, you go from the top, you find that root organization that's responsible for the whole world. Underneath, you will find those are responsible for part of, let's say, the globe, the continent, or part of the globe. Okay, then within that part of a continent or globe, you find other organization, and you get to the local internet registries. You get to your internet service provider. Okay, these are the ISP within that country. Let's say Gulf. Let's say we do have within, let's say, the Gulf area. Then we go to KSA. Within KSA, we do have that ISP, and within that ISP, you are the end user. So there is some hierarchy of, let's say, managing the domain, or the different organization managing those domains. So one place to get the information about, let's say, a domain of XYZ company is to query the registrar. Okay, to get to the registrar, whether you can do it manually or automatic. Okay, automatic, you get some website, you go to those website, for instance, and type in the name of, let's have a look, for instance, to this one, smart who is. Okay, let's try it, Shabab.
Okay.
Let's say www.smartwhois.com. So basically, we work for the network. And you can query. You can get some information about, let's say, any company. Okay, and from the information you get, you can see whether that information is valuable for you or not. Let's say I'm looking for psu.edu.sa. This, I think this company is this.
علق عندكم عادي شباب ولا أنا؟
يعلق.
أوكي.
دكتور ما في صوت.
يمكن قطع النت.
وكان يقول عنده مشاكل الواي فاي.
No internet. Hello, Shabab, did you get anything?
Now we're getting. We just.
Did you got information about psu.edu.sa?
بس البث علق يا دكتور البث.
What type of information you got, Shabab? I cannot hear you, Shabab. I think maybe we are.
دكتور.
دكتور.
I cannot hear you well. Can you write it down, Shabab, in the box, in the chat box? Oh, even the lost network. I don't understand.
Doctor, can you hear us? Okay.
نفس المشكلة أمس قبل أمس صح؟
أنا كنت أسمع الدكتور لكن هو ما كان يقدر يسمعنا.
مثلك انا بعد نسمع بس ما نسمعنا.
خلاص بقفل خلاص. طولنا.
نطلع كلنا ويرجع وما في أحد بالكلاس.
ترى في ريكوردينج دير باله.
أي فبعدين ننكب. الدكتور قال شيء.
السلام عليكم شباب. I just lost connection, sorry.
لا ما
عليكم السلام.
عليكم
What did you
السلام.
got يا شباب؟
We couldn't, doctor, hear you when you asked us.
What did you got as an answer? What did you got as information when you used the Whois or Smart Whois website and you typed the domain of PSU? Did you got any say interesting information? Just write it down, Shabaka. Write it if you got something. Write it on the chat box. I will turn off my camera. So can you hear me, Shabab?
ما طلع لي شيء. انا قاعد كله زي اللي لودي مكتوب ستاتس اناكتف. ما ادري ليش طلع لي كذا.
Anyone got something, Shabab?
I get no results.
No result. Okay.
Me too. No result. Same.
The problem is slow connection. The problem with the internet.
Yes.
but it's the same.
Network is not reachable. You have problem with the network. So if you do have your Kali, you can.
Maybe from the
problem
server.
with connection.
I tried the same thing. It does the same thing exactly.
Okay, it is not connecting to the internet, so there is a problem. But you can try it later, Shabab. You can use. We will have some practice on Whois, for instance. Okay, and Whois can be done manually by using the command line. Okay, you can use it on Windows. You can use it on Linux, and you can use, let's say, query the domain by using those automatic querying the register. Okay. We're gonna stop here. If you have any questions, Shabab, with regard to today's chapter.